नाम संकीर्तनम की श्री प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जायमुदीरये
ततो जयमुदीरये
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भगवते सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमा श्लोके
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
देवकी नन्दनाय च
देवकी नन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
So today we are reading verse 23 from the 9th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 23 today. Drishta maya devi vibho akhila dhishnaya pana. 23. 23, huh? Maya devi vibho akhila dhishnaya pana. Ayushriyo vibhava ichhati yanjanoyam. Yeshmat pito kupitaha savijram bhita bhru. Visfurjitena lulitaha satute nirasta. Drishta maya devi vibhu akhila dhishnaya pana. Ayushriyo vibhava ichhati yanjanoyam. Yeshvat pitu kupitaha savijram bhita bhru. Visfurjitena lulita satute nirasta. Drishta maya devi vibho akhila dhishnaya panam. Ayushriyo vibhava ichhati yanjanoyam. Yeshvat pitu kupitaha savijram bhita bhru. विस्फूर्जितेन लुलितः सतुते निरस्ता यस्मात् पितुः सविचरं भीतभ्रू विस्फूर्जितेन लुलिता सतुते निरस्ता
दृष्टा मया दिवि विभो अखिल कृष्णायपानम् आयुष्यो विभव इत्यतियाञ्जनोऽयम् यस्मात् पितुः कुपिताः सविजृम्भिता विस्फुटितेन लुलिता सतुते निरस्ता
आयुष्यो विभव इच्छति यस्मात् पितुः कुपितः सविचरं भीतभ्रू विस्फुटितेन सतुते निरस्ता. Word to word meaning. Drishtaha have been seen practically. Maya by me. Divi in the higher planetary systems. Vibho, oh my Lord. Akila, all. Vishnayapanam, of the chiefs of the different states or planets. Ayu, the duration of life. Shriya, opulences. Vibhava, glories. Influence. Ichhati, desire. Yan, all of which. Janayam, these people in general. Ye, all of which. Duration of life, opulence, etc. Asmat Pitu, of our father Hiranyakashipu. Kupitahasa, by his critical laughing when angry. Vijrambhita, being expanded. Bhru, of the eyebrows. Visfurjitena, simply by the feature. Lulitaha, pulled down or finished. Saha, he, my father. Tu, but. Te, by you. Nirastaha, completely vanquished. My dear Lord, a translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai. My dear Lord, people in general want to be elevated to the higher planetary systems for a long duration of life, opulence, and enjoyment. But I have seen all of these through the activities of my father. When my father was angry and he laughed sarcastically at the demigods, they were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movements of his eyebrows. Yet my father, who is so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a moment. Within this material world, one should understand by practical experience the value of material opulence, longevity, and influence. We have actually experienced that even on this planet, there have been many great politicians and military commanders like Napoleon, Hitler, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Gandhi. But as soon as their lives are finished, their popularity, influence, and everything else were finished also. Prahlad Maharaj formerly gathered the same experience by seeing the activities of Hiranyakashipu, his great father. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj did not give any importance to anything in this material world. No one can maintain his body or material achievements forever. A Vaishnav can understand that nothing within this material world, not even that which is powerful, opulent, or influential, can endure. At any time, such things may be vanquished. And who can vanquish them? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should conclusively understand that no one is greater than the Supreme Great. Since the Supreme Great demands Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamikam Sharanam Braja, every intelligent man must agree to this proposal. One must surrender unto the Lord to be saved from the wheel of repeated birth and death, old age and disease. ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगना रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां Shri Jagannatha Te Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhishya kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langayate girim. Yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of His Grace Muktivedanta Prabhu and Vanmali Pandit Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas assembled here, all the Vaishnavis assembled here, so that we can make some humble attempts to glorify the Lord and the devotees of the Lord, and to remain absorbed in those glories. My dear Lord, people in general want to be elevated to the higher planetary systems for a long duration of life, opulence, and enjoyment. But I have seen all of these through the activities of my father. When my father was angry and he laughed sarcastically at the demigods, they were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movements of his eyebrows. Yet my father, who was so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a moment. Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of everyone. Now it is very interesting to see, rather, it is in one sense quite. It is quite shaking and heartbreaking for a materialistic person to see that the Supreme Lord's presence and influence is understood by this cascade of destruction. In this material world, everything is destroyed. Rather, we can say that yes, destruction is the constant fabric of this material world. And this, so to face this reality of the material world is uh, is not easy for a materialistic mindset. But actually, a thoughtful person, a saintly personality, is not at all affected by it. Why? Because we understand. So the Lord's role in this entire process of destruction is understood very succinctly by a devotee of the Lord, as a devotee can understand that, see, what is being vanquished is illusion. Reality is never vanquished. What is vanquished is illusion. And pain and suffering lies in considering illusion as perennial. So when illusion is taken to be reality, then that is going to lead to a very painful experience, because because the illusion is not going to sustain for long. The illusion is not going to sustain for long. So it is like a bubble, and that bubble is formed, that bubble bursts out. But one who chases to grab this bubble of the material manifestations, such a person, one who chases to grab these bubbles of material manifestation, such a person endeavoring with great pain, ultimately landing up with vain and with no lasting gain. And that is the point. So, in fact, we can understand that it is Krishna's great mercy that the Lord, it is the Supreme Lord's great mercy that the Supreme Lord uh, exposes the the haziness which is cast by these clouds of illusion. These clouds of illusion, they cast a very hazy vision, and that fog of haziness is exposed time to time by the Supreme Lord. This exposure in terms of that all these fogs they vanquish. See, that which stays is reality, and that which changes cannot be reality. Only that which stays is reality. Therefore, there is a saying, and the saying it says that, okay, the sun cannot be covered. Well, this phrase comes when Shivas Thakur is speaking to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's doing like this, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, "What are you doing?" And he's saying, "No, I'm trying to cover the sun." And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is laughing and saying, "The sun cannot be covered." And he said, "Yes, similarly, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, that fact cannot be hidden. Therefore, that fact cannot be hidden. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are Sakshat Narayan. And and who can cover the sun? So, in the same way, reality can never be covered. One may try a lot of permutations, combinations of covering, but these permutations, combinations of covering will not last just because they are an artificial attempt. Just because they are an artificial attempt. So, the living entity. So we see the drive of the living entity is a very mad drive, sad and mad. Why? Because the living entity willfully, by his or her own choice, rejects Krishna, in the shelter of whose lotus feet one can experience oceanic transcendental bliss. And the jiva rejects Krishna and then tries to prove that one can get everything without Krishna, and then goes into a mad chase to grab on to various artificialities. But these artificialities do not sustain. Even though the jiva works hard to make different manifestations of material energy, none of these manifestations sustain. That the reason is why they don't sustain. Because the reason is the sustaining principle is Krishna. So without Krishna, how anything can sustain? That is the sustenance. The sustaining principle is Krishna, and therefore, without Krishna, nothing can sustain. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in one lecture, first canto. Prabhupada is explaining that you see these scientists and physicists, they always keep playing around with energy, and they keep talking about energy, and then they say okay, the law of conservation of energy, but they don't know where energy is conserved. Energy is manifesting in different forms, but where the energy is conserved, that principle has to be known. And Srila Prabhupada is telling that energy is conserved in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the conservation takes place the Supreme Lord, because all these various parasya shakti vividhaiva shruyate, all these various the entire gamut of energy, they are all resting in the Supreme Lord. So if we take off the resting place only, where is the question of stability? Where is the question of stability? Here we have a ground, so this mic stand is resting, the table is resting. Suppose there is no ground, or the ground breaks, none of these will rest, they will all fall. Similarly, all these material arrangements, they do not sustain, because the principle of sustenance is Lord Krishna. And without the Supreme Lord, everything crumbles. So, therefore, this crumbling reality of this material world, although it appears to be very harsh, uh, to a materialistic mindset. Uh, but what one needs to, a thoughtful person needs to understand the fleeting nature of this crumbling reality of this world. That in the very first pursuit, the attempt to make different caricatures of metal energy in itself is a mad attempt. And madness does not lead to any uh, positive outcome. Rather, madness will always lead to sadness. That is the principle. So, therefore, the picture of this world is very succinctly presented by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada in teachings of Queen Kunti. In the second chapter, Prabhupada explains Maya Javanika Chanam Atnadadokshajamapyam Lakshase Muda Drisha Nato Natya Dharoyatha. Prabhupada explains in the purport that see the Lord, uh, the Supreme Lord is extremely merciful to the jivas in this material world. Now the Supreme Lord makes numerous arrangements so that the living entity can come back to Krishna. Numerous arrangements. In fact, the Supreme Lord is tirelessly working hard, not resting, for the sake of the deliverance of the living entity. That is the nature of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord comes in the form of hundreds and thousands of incarnations. So as there are waves in the ocean like that, there are different incarnations of the Lord, just to attract the hearts of the entangled fallen living entities, engrossed and engulfed in attachment and aversion to the material energy. The Lord has given us the Holy Scriptures. The Lord sends His devotees all the time. So there are the directions of the Scriptures. Chanda Suparne Rishiyo Vivikte. This direction, the favorable breeze of the Scriptures. And the Lord is coming, the Lord sends His devotees. And the Lord manifests in the form of the Archa Vigraha. And then Srila Prabhupada is arguing that after all this attempts of the Supreme Lord, why the living entity still does not surrender into Krishna? So much mercy the Lord is agitating so much of mercy into the atmosphere. So why there is why the living entity is still in that suffering miserable plight? Then why the living entities are still not taking to the process of Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada explains two reasons. Srila Prabhupada explains. The first reason is ignorance. Ignorance. So ignorance is a very interesting phenomenon, because what happens is that the changing manifestations, the changing manifestations of this material world cast this spell of ignorance on the living entity. So the more one ventures, experiments the manifestations of this material world, the more it makes the mind dull. And that's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. Jada Vidya Mayar Vaibhav Jeev ke banaye gadha. And tumhar bhajan badha. So the jiva is not gadha in the first place. The jiva, but But the more the jiva tries to enjoy and fluff around and experience the various flavors of this world, it dulls the intelligence of the jiva. And that is how the ignorance takes over. So, this ignorance is like a spell. And therefore, the more there is fluffing mentality, the more this spell is cast, and a person is just not able to understand. And that is the problem with sense gratification. That sense gratification immediately uh, as soon as sense gratification, the attempt of sense gratification, the living entity is bewitched, and thus one loses one's vivek shakti, and one is not able to discriminate good from bad and reality from illusion.
And that's what is true for opponents of money also, because when Kali will cloud as options.
Yes,
Initially, person is not condemned.
yes, yes. So, so this is very dangerous. This ignorance is very dangerous. So that is why now here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that to that big leaders like Napoleon and Hitler and Gandhi, and they have come and gone. They have come and gone, like wind is blowing and bringing particles of sand and taking away particles of sand. That's all. They've come and gone. And who cares? I mean, but and that is why Prabhupada is saying that that which is opulent, influential, that which is powerful cannot endure. Therefore, the Lord's message to the living entity, the jiva, is what sarva dharma and parityaja. Oh, no, so everything one has to give. Yes, because anything if one touches, everything is poisonous. That is why everything has to be given up. Because everything is poisonous. And one touches anything, it intoxicates. So much so that the living entity becomes ignorant. So this attack of Maya is a very lethal attack. So Maya, now it is very interesting to see. Maya Shakti never chases behind the living entity. What Maya Shakti has done is that she has placed bombs everywhere. The moment the living entity steps on any object of sense gratification, immediately that bomb explodes. And what is the fallashruti of that? The living entity becomes loses one smriti. Smriti Shakti is lost, and then the person is not able to understand, not able to evaluate, and loses his Smriti Shakti. Smriti Brahmasad Buddhinasho Buddhinasha Pranashati. So even a person of good health can get lost. And therefore, many times the greatest trick is that these illusions they come many times uninvited also, and they come uninvited, but they can cost they can cost a great curse upon the living entity. Like for example, we see this in the life of Sripad Yamunacharya. Now, Sripad Yamunacharya is a 7-year-old boy and fully situated in Krishna conscious practices. Because his grandfather Nathamuni had trained him very nicely. He was a great devotee of the Lord, and therefore the boy Yamuna, he was so much immersed in the spiritual substance, and he was now now in the incident of the debate at the court of the king, this boy Yamuna, because his guru was not there, and he was trying to defend the dignity of his guru. So immediately he stood up that he is not going to pay back. His guru, why should he pay back any tax? To the Raj Purohit, who seemingly defeated his guru in debate, and therefore he was exacting tax for eternity. So this small boy, he stood up, he said, "What is this? This is not fair. We are not going to give tax, and And you're saying that okay, this person who's exacting tax is a priestly person, but I am seeing pride and arrogance in his heart. And when pride and arrogance is there in his heart, then where is knowledge? Such a proud and arrogant and stubborn person as this Raj Purohit, where is knowledge? And then the boy Yamuna said, I will challenge him for a debate. Because the sciences, the knowledge only prevails where there is humility, where there is service attitude, where there is pride, where there is arrogance, there is stubbornness, knowledge cannot prevail. So this person is sitting on an empty husk. I will challenge him. That's what this small boy said. And then there was this debate. So now, and this small boy could defeat that Raj Purohit, that royal scholar of the king. He could defeat. But now now the twist in the storyline starts. The twist in the storyline is what? That now when this small boy Yamuna he came to the territory, the queen had got very much attracted, and the queen was betting with the king in the nights that this boy is going to win, and the king was offended. It was a blow on his ego. But then they were having a bet, and in their conversation, the queen had asked that okay, if he really wins, you have to give him half of your kingdom. And the king said okay, because it was impossible how such a small boy can. But this boy defeated the Raj Purohit. So now the small boy, so Yamuna, he got half of the kingdom. So his Pattabhishek was done, and he became Maharaj Alabandaru. And then on, so now he was very happy reciting verses of Bhagavatam and praying to Krishna and performing worship and staying with the devotees and serving the Vaishnavas. And this figment of material energy which came to him was uninvited. He never hankered for it. He never wanted it. It came all of a sudden. But when it came, he accepted it. And when he accepted it, immediately his mindset changed. Now his only proclivity, cherished proclivity, was expanding his empire. And he was going on for decades and decades. He just went on constantly expanding his empire. Empire. He's a very powerful ruler. But then he had no time to chant his rounds. And he forgot the verses of Bhagavatam. So, yeah. And he forgot the association of Vaishnavas. So much so that he never even kept in touch with his grandfather. He never even cared to find out the whereabouts of his grandfather. When Nathamuni left his body, Alabandaru was not knowing. Maharaj Alabandaru, he was not knowing that his grandfather has left his body. So in this episode, we can see that how the Maya Shakti is very, very dangerous. So sometimes people feel that when Lord Krishna is telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, sometimes they say that okay, this seems to be too hard and too harsh. Yeah, it is too hard, but that has to be, because if that precision is not included by the Supreme Lord, nobody can advance in spiritual life. Any figment of mental energy we touch, it is going to dull our intelligence and cast this spell of ignorance. And that spell of ignorance, one will make wrong choices. And one may not understand that what choice, that what's going wrong. Like in the case of Yamunacharya, Shripad Yamunacharya, he could not understand as a teenager what is happening. He thought, okay, kingdom is coming, fine, we'll rule the kingdom. But as soon as he accepted the kingdom, immediately his mind got intoxicated. Immediately he forgot his spiritual practices. And then because of the intervention of this disciple of Nathamuni, what was his name? Ram Mishra. I think so. Ram Mishra. Because of the intervention of this disciple, now he again got awakened, but now to again pick up Krishna consciousness, what was he supposed to do, or what he did is an example for us. What did he do? Sarvadharman parityaje. Because Rameshwara took him to Sri Rangam, and he saw the Lord Ranganath Swami, and he understood that okay, this is the treasure of my life, and my grandfather has given me. He never went back to his kingdom. He didn't say that okay, I will settle the affairs there and then come back after some time. Give me 1 month notice period. I mean, 1 month. So he didn't serve any notice period. He said okay, finished.
So darshan done, maybe I come with you to that darshan.
So he didn't. Why? Because there is a point in that. Because the point is that there is a point in that. The point is that going back and touching material affairs again means again when there is a possibility and probability one may get clouded over, and therefore he left it then and there. And he left it then and there, and that is why Bhagavatam actually highlights and zooms on this aspect. Bharat Maharaj, he left his kingdom, as a person, and it didn't even, because the moment he understood that, yes, I need to take this step now, immediately he left it. He didn't, just like a person leaves his excreta, not even looking at it and walks off. That way, Bharat Maharaj walked off. And that is glorified by Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is speaking this in such a picturesque visualization of the spirit of eagerness of Bharat Maharaj to obtain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So material amenities have to be left in that spirit, because the moment the material opulence and influence and longevity, as is being explained here, the moment there is even a touch is very good, it is going to be very, very deadly. Even the touch is going to be very, very deadly. So, similarly, the moment Parikshit Maharaj realized that there are only 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj did not even consider going back to his kingdom, going back to his palace. Because the moment he realized that there's 7 days and 7 nights, Parikshit Maharaj immediately decided that I need to go somewhere where there the glories of the Lord can take place. He did not think that, okay, maybe 1 or 2 days, let me just settle everything. No, material world is a place where nothing can settle. Only Krishna's lotus feet is a place where everything can settle. So, because of not... Krishna's lotus feet is the place where everything can settle. Otherwise, in the material world, there is no settlement. There is no question of any settlement. Parikshit Maharaj did not even waste a second. He was on the pathway, he was on the journey, and the moment he realized, the moment he went towards the bank of the Ganges, having that faith that he is going to meet various devotees, and in their association in Krishna Katha, he will end his body. This is the point. So, this Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur very nicely explains. Technically, this is this is a very, very dangerous and terrible attack of the material energy, which comes in the form of Tarangarangini, as one of the formidable obstacles which blocks one from reaching the platform of Nishtit Bhajan Kriya, and keeps the Bhajan Kriya Anishtit. So, a very terrible anartha which comes in the form of this Taranga Rangini, that even if one is not hankering after that figment of material energy, the material energy gives that. And one may get intoxicated by it. Very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Therefore, Sarva Dharman Pratyajya. That I don't have anything to give and take with opulence, influence, longevity. Because it's very dangerous. Further, Srila Prabhupada in Teachings of Queen Kunti chapter 2 mentions the second reason why the living entity does not accept Krishna's mercy. And that second aspect is even more deadlier than the first one. The first one is ignorance. Well, ignorance can be removed. The Yamanacharya became ignorant. Before he became Yamanacharya, the Alabandaru Maharaj became ignorant because of trying out these material flavors. But then, because of intervention of Sri Rama Mishra, he came back to his senses. But then the point is that the second one, Prabhupada explains, more deadly. And the second one, Prabhupada explains, is stubborn obstinacy, Prabhupada says. Why the living entity does not surrender to Krishna? Owing to stubborn obstinacy. That stubborn obstinacy. Interestingly, this stubborn obstinacy is manifest in the jiva's tireless quest of fluffing around the various flavors of the material energy. That tireless quest itself is that stubborn obstinacy, because the jiva is very expert. Because we see any particular manifestation of material energy doesn't sustain for long. So it's not much difficult to understand that what one is chasing for is flickering and temporary. Everyone understands. Because if there is a chase for one thing, then that one thing crumbles in due course very soon. But then in the chase for one thing, the person picks up 100 more things to chase for. In that chase for one thing, the person picks up 100 more things. Yes, that is what happens. The person picks up 100 more things. And then the chasing for 100 things, life becomes very complicated. Mindset becomes very complicated. And it is going to take time. So if it was only one thing, then that one thing in very short time, person can understand it is futile. But now the person, now in the course of chasing for that one thing, the person has added 100 more things, and therefore the person gets entangled. This is basically stubborn obstinacy. That the jiva is so much convinced that no matter what, I will not turn to Krishna. Even though this particular material, the flavor of this particular this particular manifestation has got destroyed, but I'll try out something else, and I'll try out second new thing, here thing, anything, but not try out Krishna. This is what is stubborn obstinacy. So so this is what is stubborn obstinacy. That what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains as sansara lagilo bhalo. भ्रमि देशे देशे धनोपार्जन करी. So this is what stubborn obstinacy is. That it's not that living entities are they are satisfied, but people are not satisfied with what they have, and they are trying out newer and newer things. But still, whenever there is a proposal to try out Krishna, and a person puts a dead wall in that lane, he says no, everything else other than the Krishna lotus feet. This is stubborn obstinacy, and therefore the acharyas describe. Therefore, the acharyas describe the importance of faith. And the acharyas describe that what is that? Shraddha Shabde iti Vishwasa Palan. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That
Shraddha Shraddha Vishwas se kare sudre nashya Krishna bhakti kaila.
Sarva Karma Krita Hai. So this is our choice, intrinsic choice, that whether we want accolades after accolades to somehow try to prove artificially one's own fleeting greatness in a ground of unsustainability, or one simply serves Krishna, understanding that if I serve Krishna sincerely and genuinely, everything will manifest. Everything will manifest. So the antidote of stubborn obstinacy is Shraddha. The Shraddha Shabde iti Vishwasa, Sudrida Nishchay. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa, Kori, Sudrida Nishchay. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. Let's stop here on this note. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hari Bol.
Doubt.
Shraddha Shabde doubt kaane.
So sometimes what happens is, we know this. We know we are stubbornly obstinate. We know that ignorance again and again covering us. And there is sometimes hope, certain situation created when we can understand that we were covered in ignorance. We are actually stubborn. And knowing that we take oath, we take vows, we come back, no more. Enough. I will now no more get into that. But again we end up falling into that. And it's a constant struggle between both. So a person for a few times he can override, saying, okay, now I'll again get up. Like a soldier is wounded, get up, now I'll fight. So it's that. But after some time, many times people give up. So what is the thing? How to, the people are practicing both the and there many times they understand, come out of it, tomorrow no more, full faith, okay, take shelter, Guru Vaishnava, go. Again they get into this. And this Ghanatarala, we went to Tarangara and within Ghanatarala only people get so much lost, and then after that they think maybe it's very difficult. And then after some time they even don't know that I'm stubbornly obstinate or I'm ignorant.
Yes. No, that is true. One of the things to understand is that actually we have to understand that as a sadhaka, we are not driven because of state. We are driven because of feed. A sadhaka's drive is not because of state. State means that we are not at that level that we will be unaffected by Maya. So in the first place, sincerity. I mean, in the first place, we have to sincerely accept this fact that I am very vulnerable to Maya. I don't have the strength to face Maya. So when we understand that, okay, I am not uh, um, I am not invincible in a duet with Maya. I am very much. I'll be no, defeated in first round only. I don't have the strength to combat Maya. That is something just to be understood in the first place. So therefore, then if you don't have that state, we are not at that level that we can no, that we can walk around. Not like no. So we don't have that strength. Like Bhima had that strength. All these so many people can pounce on him and he can just show up. Even Rudrasur Maharaj did like that also. He had such a powerful body, and we don't have that strength. So we are not driven by state. We are driven by feed. Feed means diet. We are alive only because of diet. Diet, spiritual diet.
What is the feeling in that?
DIET, diet. So we are not driven by state. We are driven by feed. The sadhaka's journey is driven by feed. That I need to be see, just like a laptop. whose I mean, there are certain laptops they grow old, na, so their battery life gets very small, life cycle becomes very small. When the battery is discharged in 10 minutes, yeah, the new one battery life may be 8 hours, but then the old fellow, battery can get discharged in 10 minutes, and sometimes the battery doesn't have any charging capacity. As soon as then also one can work on the laptop. How? By constantly plugging in. We don't take the plug out, then we can work. So therefore, even if somebody's battery can be uh, uh, as Devamrit Maharaj says, that we have to understand, and we need to know we need to know our battery backup, in that sense, in the sense that that okay, that if this much time has happened, then I have to go back to Prabhupada books, and I have to read, and I have to go, and that is where I can get that strength, and I have to go into the proper dive into proper books and dive into proper lectures. Navnath always says that one needs to know. One should assert and that okay, I can go on for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, but not beyond that. Because if we go beyond that, then what happens? The infection will take over. The infection will take over. So therefore the problem is, because it's a very dynamic setting, so the moment we become so when we understand that I am only driven by feed and I don't have much battery backup, so let me constantly immerse myself in the words of Srila Prabhupada, and the words of the acharyas, that will save us. That kind of diet will save us. And I cannot afford to venture out of the association much. And so that kind of attitude is very essential. When there is carelessness on that ground, uh, then the up down situation becomes prominent a lot. Up down up down. But when one understands that I don't have any strength only, let me cling on all the time, then if one clings on all the time, then it is possible. Even if one doesn't have individually have the strength, simply by clinging on, it is possible to no, it is possible to curb the up down oscillations, the up down oscillations. So sometimes, even as devotees, so therefore it is, so, therefore it is best to always be. That's why Prabhupada said, no one has to be sufficiently afraid of Maya. One is sufficiently afraid. Well, afraid means what? We understand, Arey, I cannot match. So as soon as the word, the word Maya, there is, one starts hearing the word Maya, immediately one will run, to Krishna, to devotees. Such a person can be saved. Such a person can be saved. Rajshampur says sometimes, now we have seen, and sometimes uh, it is seen that certain now in a community sometimes there are some weakling devotees and there are some very stout and strong devotees. So sometimes there are some devotees, and every they're like weakling, but they can go on decade and decade because they also accept, because they accept they are weakling, and therefore they are clinging on and they go on. And sometimes the stout and strong devotees, they face yeah, they face reversals and challenges because they accept that they are strong and stuff. That is the problem. So, so, uh, so constant charging is or constant diet is something which can help us. I mean, it can attenuate these oscillations. Yes.
So the amount of risk we take, so-called in the preaching mission of Srila Prabhupada, versus the compromise we do in the strictest sadhana aspects, is to the person to person.
Yes, one needs to understand.
Who takes the, where is the limit that okay, this is the maximum risk I can take, for which I cannot take more than this. It's not healthy.
Yes.
How do we judge that?
How do we judge that?
Because if you see spiritual masters or even they want their disciple to be empowered and do as much as possible for the world. Even authority, everyone may want to do more, but then where to cut off that? Okay, this is what I can. More than this, I cannot do on my because I can be susceptible to.
There are few aspects which I have heard from senior devotees very strong. Uh, the first thing where we should not compromise is the morning program. Morning program. So I have seen senior devotees very strongly emphasizing that for no reason whatsoever, one should compromise on the morning program. No reason.
Till Bhagavatam completes.
Yeah, morning program means till the end of Bhagavatam class. Yeah, from 4 o'clock to 9:30. That is the morning program. No compromise on the morning program. So the so all like this time, so when Bhakti Vasudev Maharaj had also come. Maharaj was mentioning that how can you afford to keep the mobile with you during the morning program? No, Maharaj was making that point. So it was nice. It was it was that okay because the mobile is there, then something will happen. They pick it up and then they're distracted. So like that. So very strong emphasis on the morning program. No compromise on the morning program. So that is one thing where we do not compromise. That is certain principle where we do not compromise because morning program is the only time where we can get strength from, and that also is compromise. Then where is the question of any strength? Very difficult, means very challenging otherwise. So morning program very solid. One has to do morning program very solid. Mm. Rather, we hear acharyas are recommending on a positive note to strengthen and invest in the morning program. I mean, morning program starts at 4:30, but strengthening the morning program and that you start at 3:30 only. That kind of encouragement is given. Like Radhishampu was quoting this time, no, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Maharaj is telling, if you get up at 2 o'clock, now I can guarantee you'll go back to garden in this life. Means what? 16 rounds, 2:30 to 4:30. That's what it means. Uh, uh, and then and the no, or one can read no, first and then so that is a very strong emphasis which I have heard. The other thing which I have heard very strongly Radhisham Prabhu emphasizes is to be very careful in preaching to the opposite gender. No, there also uh, so in preaching to the opposite gender, we have to be very, very careful. Strictly, Aisha Prabhu emphasizes strictly no preaching to the opposite gender. This principle is true for brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, everybody. There is no exception to this principle. Men should preach to men, Matajis should preach to Matajis. Matajis can preach to children. Men should not preach to children. So these maryadas one can be very very strict about, no compromise. Actually, then we'll be safe. Then we'll be safe. Anyways, even if Mataji is half the population, the other half is also overwhelming. At least our whole life will be absorbed in it, so there won't be any need to go to the other side of the trajectory. So Raishampu emphasizes this very strongly because very subtly it affects and pollutes, and it may land up into this is true for brahmachari. This is true for grihastha also. It's not that yeah, it's true for grihastha also. It is true for vanaprastha sannyasi also. It's true for everyone. So we have to understand what is our kshetra of preaching. Okay, adult boys, I mean the college students, adults, men, then we can preach to them. So this is another thing where I see Radhisham Prabhu draws a very strict boundary. A strict boundary. Uh, mm, obviously, yeah. So like this, there are few avenues where I see a lot of strictness. Another place I see that senior devotees are very, very particular and transparent about finances. That uh, many senior devotees, they are very, very particular about finances. To use the basic minimum facility for themselves and be very, very transparent. I was very amazed. I saw Jayadut Maharaj puts his whole expenses for anybody and everybody to see. Yeah, on the website you can see, $1 is spent for what cause, $half is spent for what cause. Everything you can see. They're very, very particular and transparent about finance. That saves us. Uh, I see Radhisham Prabhu also. Uh, uh, when Prabhu is in India, he prefers to travel by train. So even if you're, I mean, it's not that devotees are not, I mean, they're happy to give him flight ticket, but then still he will takes a train. So, and it is very amazing to see that okay, that extra step of simplicity protects us. Now that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction also, Bhalana Khaiva, Bhalana Pariva. So that is another thing which I see, very, very inspiring, very, very inspiring. In penny to penny, consciousness of saving a penny to penny for the Prabhupada's mission is a very beautiful consciousness. That means it's a very beautiful consciousness.
From the life of Radheshyam Prabhu only we can see that he is preaching worldwide, but how is not affected because he has kept his morning program very fixed up. And time to time, Radheshyam Prabhu is hearing from his senior devotees.
Yes.
So it's not that he's just preaching. He's taking in. So, and even from his godbrother, like Gaurang Guru giving class and Radheshyam Prabhu is making notes. So that attitude of humility, it's not that I'm a big preacher, I need not to listen to
Yes.
anybody. And then he doesn't claim over his preaching.
Yes.
So he's not preaching with a fruiting mentality that these are my boys. Because even in the same gender, okay, opposite gender is there is, same gender also is, when we start thinking he's my property. Nobody is our property. Because that is Dhanam Janam Sundarim. If we think that people whom we are bringing to Krishna consciousness, they should follow us. Then we get attached the way to the kids also we get attached.
Yeah, we have seen Prabhuji take so much time in writing to so many senior devotees and keep inviting them, and when they are coming, uh, uh, Prabhu is all available for them, and then he is hearing them, and then he remembers what they said in the last visit, and then he remembers everything, and it's very inspiring to see that. Very, very inspiring to see that.
And not only expenses, even the life of senior devotees or the successful teachers like Radheshyam Prabhu is very transparent. So whatever disasters we have seen in some devotees' life, that is because their life is not open and transparent to senior devotee. Means we should never think that we don't need guidance anymore.
Yeah.
There we fall trapped to Maya. So if our life is not known to anybody, we are not time to time opening our files, sharing what we are doing in life, then we will get caught up.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so let's stop here for today. Maybe you can take it personally. Because I think it's high time. Antarashtriya Bhagavatam ki. Jai.
I think there's only 15 minutes left to be broken the fast.
Oh, thank you. Limit.
Yes, you wanted to ask something.